spectacular landscapes of Argentina, from the vast ice fields of Patagonia to the wide open plains of the Pampas. Expect ice fields, football crowds, land disputes and cowboys. It's a normal weekend for you, but it's an entire programme for him in Explore Patagonia to the Pampas.
This is the old Patagonia Express. It's going to take us out across the vast expanses of Patagonia, this huge region that occupies almost the entire southern section of the continent of South America.
Patagonia stretches from the southern tip of South America for over 1,000 miles north. It's one of the world's last true wildernesses, a place of extraordinary beauty. Here in the west of Patagonia, the wide grassy plains meet the mountains.
Over there are the Andes, the longest mountain range in the world. The Andes also boast the largest ice field outside the poles and some of the most spectacular glaciers.
Patagonia's ice fields are at the centre of the global climate change debate. High on Argentina's western border with Chile lies the Glaciers National Park. Tanya Datta embarked on a journey to find out what the ice can tell us about our global weather system.
We're in Lake Argentina, which apparently is an equivalent latitude to London. But can you imagine one of those things floating down the Thames? Glaciers are a crucial source of evidence for climate change. By studying them, scientists can map the variations in global temperatures. In southern Patagonia, there are nearly 50 glaciers, great rivers of ice that descend from the Andes. Environmentalists warn that the world's glaciers are melting. But as with everything in the climate change debate, the story is not as simple as it seems. We were on our way to the Perito Moreno Glacier. My guide was Jorge Rabasa, a glaciologist who's been tracking the movement of these glaciers since the 70s. After an hour on the water, the glacier finally came into view.
Beautiful, huh?
Just incredible, isn't it? Perito Moreno is 20 miles long and in places more than 2,000 feet deep. Whoa! Oh my God! Look at that!
To give you an idea, that was more or less the size of an apartment building of 20 stories.
As Perito Moreno hits the warmer water of the lake, it starts to melt, causing blocks of ice to fall off the front of the glacier in a process known as calving. Former American Vice President Al Gore used images of this glacier calving in his film, An Inconvenient Truth, which warned of the dangers of man-made global warming. It's a powerful and emotive image, but what does the science really tell us? Jorge took us to meet Bernie, who was to be our guide as we walked across the surface of Perito Moreno.
Kick the ice, kick the ice.
Okay. It's like a vast, frozen white desert with huge ice dunes. Amid the stunning scenery, there seemed to be worrying signs for the glacier.
Look at
What's that? Oh, look! over the surface, there were rivers of meltwater.
So the glacier is melting, Perito Moreno is melting.
Well, this is normal for this time of the year. Yes, melting takes place at the surface of the ice all through the summer.
Bernie took us to a place he regularly visits when he's on the ice.
I wanted to show you something here.
Using GPS, Bernie periodically measures the position of the stick, allowing him to track the movement of the glacier. He's come to an unexpected conclusion.
This glacier is in a steady condition.
But environmentalists use images of this glacier, Perito Moreno, to support the argument that global warming is melting the glaciers.
This is not exactly the best glacier to show how dramatic the global warming is. I mean, this one has been in a steady condition for the last 80 years.
The research suggests that Perito Moreno is not receding. Despite its use in Al Gore's film, for the moment, this glacier appears to be holding steady. But my journey with Jorge wasn't ending here. We set off towards the vast Uppsala Glacier, one of the biggest in South America. After a few miles, Jorge showed me how the landscape here is changing.
Look at that beautiful hill, just bare rock. That means that the ice was there very recently. No time for the vegetation to grow there.
So you're saying that the ice from the glacier, which I can see all the way over there in the horizon, would have covered almost all of this entire valley. I mean, that's enormous.
Yeah, and that happened only less than 100 years ago.
The evidence for Uppsala's retreat is stark. This photo of the glacier was taken in 1928. Finally, we reached the spot where it was taken. The changes in the glacier over the last 80 years are dramatic. But even in the last few years, the ice appears to have retreated.
See that rocky point with the very tiny islands at the point? The ice was covering that rocky area in 2004. So the ice has clearly receded from that position just in the last 4 years, and that is almost 1 kilometer. It's really sad to lose these magnificent natural monuments. Probably some of them will not survive onto the next century.
Uppsala Glacier is more typical than its stable neighbour Perito Moreno. Most scientists believe the evidence from the glaciers points firmly towards man-made global warming. It is an extraordinary and alarming thing to see firsthand.
Back on the old Patagonia Express, I was travelling north from the town of Esquel, skirting the foothills of the Andes.